Welcome back. We just finished talking about how we should be responding to trauma within inside of our classrooms so that we can create that safe learning environment for our students. At this point in time, we want to talk about number 6, being there, and number 8, taking care of yourself. So on the be there, I want to talk about biases. Do you have some biases? Most of us would wish to think not. But what about implicit bias? We all have them, but do we really understand them? From the way we were brought up to where we were brought up, it helped train our thoughts and opinions about others based on how they look, where they're from, and how they dress. Implicit bias is that social identity theory. An implicit bias, an unconscious bias, or implicit stereotype is the unconscious attribution of particular qualities by an individual to a member of some social group. So, if we know we have an implicit bias, how do we identify it and then attempt to change it? Think about it. Many of us are from Texas. When we leave to travel, people think we should be wearing boots and cowboy hats. That is a form of implicit bias. Well, we can help identify our own by using this study at Harvard University. This is a free website, and if you attempt to take some of these, it may surprise you about some of your different stereotypes. Yes, we all have them. Yes, I did it myself, and yes, I have some. Even a recent study has shown that cross-racial identification is typically based on a bias, and the identification of the offender is often not the correct suspect in many police cases. Additionally, it was found that a white educator will see a black male as angry when really he's not, and will focus on the black or Hispanic student when trying to identify the misbehavior in a class. The study shows that more than 75% of the time, the first person in the room to be redirected is a male person of color. Now, we cannot always change who we are or those biases that are built into us from our own experiences. So, what can we do to help avoid our biases and help our students reach their full potential? The first thing we can do is cultivate that awareness. We can work on learning about our biases and know what they are. Second, we can work to increase empathy and empathetic communication by using those good I statements and talking to our students and using our circles. We can build both of those very well. The next thing, we can practice mindfulness and having a loving kindness for everyone. And the fourth thing is to develop some cross-group friendships in our own lives. That means having friends that aren't just like us, that don't always enjoy the same things as us, but they're good people, and by getting to know them and to know about their history can help change some of our thought process. Next thing that we need to talk about is, we know those biases are there, but let's talk about teacher self-care. It should go without saying, but if you're not taking care of yourself, then how ready are you to take care of those 20 plus kiddos in your classroom? So, what is self-care? Self-care is any action that you use to improve your health and well-being. The elements of self-care are the physical, the psychological, the emotional, the spiritual, the social, and the professional. So physical self-care is, of all the self-care that's most talked about, it means physically taking care of yourself. It means going out and getting a massage, a pedicure, a haircut, wearing the clothes that make you feel good. Psychological, that would be those things that help keep your head clear. So journaling, reading a self-help book, getting creative, reading a book, solving a puzzle, aromatherapy, focusing on the things you're grateful for. The emotional, those are the ones that help us connect to the process, to reflect on our emotions. For some of us, that's seeing a therapist or writing in a journal. Music, dancing, painting are all good emotional self-cares. The spiritual, take care of your mind and body. But how are you truly connected to nurture the spirit? The most talked about practice is, of course, meditation, yoga, and going to a place of worship. Social. Well, some of us are very social creatures and we like our people. So good ways to practice that is by going out to dinner with some friends. Make it a date night with your spouse or another loved one. Making time for family. And sometimes it even means learning how to say no. Then there's professional healthcare. Professional self-care is related to that work life. Sometimes it means finding some like-minded coworkers, taking some time to get out of the room when appropriate. Maybe it's going for a short little walk during your conference or your lunch, just to take a few minutes to get a deep breath and refocus yourself. So, why is self-care so important? Self-care helps prevent stress. And the face of education is one of the most stressful jobs there is. So, if you get a stress time that weakens your physical and emotional health, and we need you to be the best person you can be for our students. Here's some simple ideas for self-care. Set some healthy boundaries. Take a break. Everyone needs time to take a break. You'll be surprised what a 5-minute walk during that lunch or conference can do. Exercise. Take care of your body physically. Know your threshold for stress. Whenever that cup's starting to get too full, take that step back. You may have to tell your boss no to something from time to time, but get that deep breath. Find at least 3 activities that relieve stress for you. We are all different. I like to run. I like to read. I like to hike. I like to bike. A lot of outdoor things, yes, I get it. But you've got to find those things that are good for you to relieve your stress in an appropriate manner. And start that day off on a good note and end your day on a positive note. Maybe it's getting up and writing down 3 things that you are thankful for that day. And then as you go to bed, you're noting the last positive things that happened for your day. Reach out to someone when you need help. Always, always, always. Let's make sure we're taking care of ourselves. We're watching out for the others around us and making sure that we are the best teacher we can be in that classroom for our students every day.